So Harini, you're there? Okay. So I'm coming to the next essay. In terms of formation of personal relationships, this is the last one. Like we saw biological, cognitive, socio-cultural is the last one. Then we have two more topics in this human relationship. So one will be communication, one will be end of relationships. So as such, totally we are having 5 essays. This is the third one. Plus we will have 2 essays, one that research methods one and one ethical consideration. So total in human relation there are 7 and this is the third one which we are doing. Okay, as always, I will come directly to the essay. This essay I have just sent you before the class, so it will be there in your mailbox. Okay, so coming to the essay. The thought-provoking statement first regarding how socio-cultural factors influence interpersonal relationships. What we can say at the beginning is socio-cultural factors are often invisible. We'll see these factors ahead, like culture is a way of living, or society means what rules and regulations are set for us, what our parents expect from us. These things are not visible as such. We don't see them. They are not tangible. But they do influence very strongly whom we choose to make relationships with and whether our relations are successful or not. So they are very powerful. We cannot underestimate their power. Let's see first of all in terms of definition what are socio-cultural factors. Socio-cultural factors are a very broad environment around us. In that there are a lot of abstract things like cultural and social norms. Norms just mean rules. If we take a simple example in Indian culture, I was just giving the example of arranged marriage. So that is expected, that is how we should form relationships. But in the West, it's always been love marriage. We marry those people whom we like. So social norms are such which determine relation. Then our values, what values have been inculcated when we are looking for a friend or partner. What should we look out for in that person? Like in India, we look out for good morals and principles, which might not matter very much in other countries. And again, beliefs. Beliefs in the sense, in India, religious beliefs, these things can matter a lot in whom we want to get along with. We might avoid certain people because they don't have the same beliefs like us. Whereas in more open societies, these things might not matter. So we don't realize how much, like for it, as it just comes very automatically. Say I belong to a particular religion, immediately I select the person who's of my religion without even realizing that this is what has influenced my selection. So it just happens very automatically, but we need to see how much power it is, how influential it is. Now, why should we look at socio-cultural factors? Why are they important? Because when we are aware of our own cultural background, in the sense what factors are influencing us, we become more mindful of how they are influencing our interaction with others. And that is why we can become more flexible. Most of the times, these cultural values are kind of restricting us from getting along with others. Like one example I gave of religion. We want to get along with those people of the same religion, so we are not comfortable with those of other religions. Or in India, there's a concept like arranged marriage, so we are waiting for our parents to introduce us to somebody. We are not really looking out by ourselves. Who would we like to get along with? So these cultural values, they are helpful also, but many times they prevent us from making relation with the diverse types of people. So if we can realize them, because these are, it's very automatic, very subconscious. So if we can take note of them, we will open ourselves to many other people whom we normally don't interact with. So we become more flexible in our interaction and communication. We try to adapt ourselves to people who are not like us or who don't follow our cultural values, and then we might have more exposure to people. We might come across people whom we like a lot and whom we would like to form relationships with. So it is very important to note these factors because they are not in our notice. We need to bring them to our notice. Now in this essay, what we are going to do is, as such, this area is very vast. Socio-cultural means lots of factors. Out of this, we are picking 2 as always. One is going to be what is called social proof. There is a concept of social proof that when deciding whom to make a relationship with, we see how other people are responding to that person. So we see most people look at this person favorably, like most of the society likes this person. We want to get along, we want to form a relation with such a person. But if we see most people are rejecting this person, they are not liking him, even we don't want to form a relation with him. So this is a social proof theory which we will see first, and then we'll see familiarity theory. Familiarity theory tells us those whom we know at least to some extent, who are not absolute strangers, just like we don't know anything about them. So familiar people, acquaintances at least, we will like them more. We would like to form more relationships with them rather than people who are strangers, we don't know them at all. So first let's understand social proof in more depth. Social proof means that we observe the actions of others to decide, like I was saying, whom to form a relationship with. Observe the action of others, say in the sense, supposing I'm X, I want to form a relationship with Y. I want to be a friend of Y. But before forming that relationship, first I'll see how others are responding to Y. So I'm observing the behavior of these other people towards Y. Now, why do we do this? Why should I just not decide whom I want to be with? Why should I see whether other people are liking him or not? Because we are trying to reflect, are we being correct? Is my choice correct? Like if I choose Y as a friend, am I doing the right thing by making him my friend? Everybody has this, humans have this need for validation. They're always looking out that someone should say that they're correct, always very scared of doing something what is supposedly wrong. So I don't want that I should make a friend with him and then I realize I've made a very big mistake. So first let me see whether other people like him or not, and then I'll decide to get along. It's kind of like playing safe. So one way now social proof can affect relationships is by making us attracted to those people whom we know are well accepted in society. Supposing I go to a classroom, first time I'm joining the class, I'm new to the school. Now I have to make friends and there's so many classmates sitting in front of me. Whom to select from out of these? So supposing I see a girl with a badge, head girl. First I want to make friends with that girl, because I know that a head girl is someone who's well accepted. All the teachers must be liking her. All the students must be liking her. That's why she's in that position. So first let me go and make friends with her. Then I will look at other students, how people are responding to them. So those who are more well accepted, who have a good status or popularity, those are the people we get more attracted towards. So social proof helps us to understand that. Further, why it is useful is because it can help us to build trust. Actually, this factor can matter. It's not like we might feel people might be biased. Maybe there are other people also who are good, but people are rejecting those people. Definitely, that can be the case. Someone's good, but others are rejecting him. So why should we stay away from that person? But many times it does happen that people are rejecting that person for a reason. Say there is someone whom I don't know so much, but in the past he's done some criminal activity, or people know he's notorious for doing some type of wrong things. That is why they are rejecting him. So many times it can be a useful cue to decide whom to trust and whom not to trust. I don't know so much about this person, but others know that we should stay away from such people. It can indeed help me from being away from danger. But there is a problem. The flip side is also there. Sometimes there might be someone who's being rejected for the wrong reason. Like say there's someone who's very outspoken, so most people don't like to get along with him because he'll very frankly tell them what is wrong with them. But actually he's a good-natured person. It's just that he speaks out a lot, and in society you're expected to be very formal and don't say things openly. So he doesn't have that what we can say diplomatic type of tendency. So people don't like him. But actually if we come close to him, we get along well with him. So we should see whether other people are rejecting someone or not, but we should see the reasons. Why is this happening? If it is happening for such reasons that people are not able to tolerate this person's behavior, whereas actually is right, then we might just blindly support what these people are doing. So we should keep our eyes open, like they say. Just find out why the person is being accepted or rejected. Then social proof will work best. Now, social proof has been proven to be true in a study by Jones in 2007. So this is a fairly recent study. What Jones did, he wanted to see whether women are more likely to find men attractive if they are liked by other women. Like we were just seeing, if I am a woman, I want to have a romantic relationship with a man. So let me see, do other women like this man or not? Then I'll decide whether I should approach him or not. Now let's see how they went about in this study. All the participants were females, as we would expect. They were shown pairs of male faces, and then they were told to rate their attractiveness. So supposing I'm a participant, I've gone in the laboratory. At one time, they're showing me photographs of two males. And I have to rate each photograph on attractiveness. So some rating scale, say a 10-point scale, how attractive I find, I have to rate it. Then after I have completed this rating task, there's a short break. Again, they show me the photographs. Same photographs, but in a different way. Earlier, they had just shown me the photographs. Now they are showing me the photographs with another photograph in the side in which a woman is either looking at the man or like looking at the man happily or not looking at the man happily. I'll just show this photo, becomes easier to understand. So in the outline, I have given the photograph. This is how the photographs were shown the second time. First time when they showed the photograph, just the male's picture. But second time when they showed it, we can see now there is a woman at the side who is looking at the man. So this is how it was presented second time. Of course, here also there are some photos with no woman looking. So these photos which are on the right side, they are like the same like the first condition only, in which they just showed the photographs, but the left side photos have changed. Now we can see in one case, this woman is looking neutrally at the man. There's no expression on her face. Neither is she looking like she doesn't like him, neither is she looking like she likes him. But in the second photograph, she's smiling, which indicates that she's liking him. She's finding him attractive, so she's smiling at him. So what we are seeing is in the second time the photos were shown, some photos on the right side were still as it is without any female by the side. But on the left side, the photographs which were there, they were having a female cue or female looking and giving some response to the photograph. Now let's come back to the study. Okay, so like we just saw just now, the woman was staring at the man's face either with a smile or with a neutral expression. Then after that, again the participants had to rate the photograph. So once they had already rated, now second time, after seeing the photographs like this, again they had to give the ratings. Let's see what the results showed. The second ratings which they gave, as we would expect, they did not change for the faces that were not accompanied by a woman staring. The right side photographs which we saw, in which no woman is looking at the man. Those ratings remain the same, because first time if I like that man, I liked, and second time also it means I will like him. And if I didn't like the first time, I don't like the second time. That remains same. But the ratings changed for the left side photographs. In the left side photograph, if like we saw the bottom one, the woman was smiling at the male face. For that, the ratings increased. So supposing in the first round, I gave a man a rating of 5 out of 10. But after seeing that a woman is smiling at this man, the second photograph, say I increased it to 7 out of 10. Now I like that man more. I find him more attractive. And then we saw the other case, the top photograph, which we saw in which the woman is looking neutrally at the man. There, as we would expect, that neutral expression photographs, the ratings decreased. So say I gave a man 5 out of 10, but after seeing this neutral expression, I just gave him 3 out of 10. So the conclusion is very obvious that how other women are reacting to a man, what response they are giving, that is influencing my response also towards them. So social proof or influence of others does affect my decision for relationships. Now let's see what's good and bad about this study. In terms of strengths, the researcher has manipulated the variable. Like one way the researcher could have done the study, just ask us to recall back from our life, like in an interview, when we found someone attractive, why did we find him attractive and all. Instead of that, they've done a proper experiment and they have decided how to present the photographs to the women. That always helps to establish a cause-effect relationship. Because I have changed the photograph presentation as a researcher, I know if a woman is responding favorably to it, it is because of the way I have presented the photograph. And if she is not responding favorably, like because I am showing that another woman is looking neutrally. So there is a cause-effect relationship between presence of the female face and participants' rating. The presence of the face and her response to that man is becoming the cause for my rating, whether it is high or low. So that we are able to establish. Besides that, we saw quantitative data was used, numerical ratings were there. That definitely helps us to easily and objectively compare participants' ratings. Here researchers wanted to know first rating which was given first time compared to that the second rating has increased or decreased. Because they were numbers they could directly compare. Like 5 out of 10 has gone up to 7 out of 10. Means rating or liking has increased. It becomes very easy to interpret. Or 5 out of 10 has come down to 3 out of 10. That means liking has decreased. So quantitative data and manipulation both increase the validity of the study. But the study is limited because in all interpersonal studies there are possible confounding factors. Like here, many things could have mattered. When we look at someone's face, the only thing we don't see is whether somebody else is looking with interest or not. In that face, we tend to look at many other things. Like, is the face well groomed? Is the personality looking nice of the person and all? And overall, what values we have. Like, some people have values, generally they will appreciate everybody, or generally they look skeptically at everyone. So these things can also influence ratings. Very specifically, if we talk about this study, physical appearance did matter. Some people, anyways, like even if a woman is smiling or looking neutrally, doesn't matter because they are finding the person very handsome, the man. So then they don't care. Their ratings might have not been affected. Whenever we see overall ratings, they are just average. We are not looking at every individual case. So in individual cases, it might have been someone found the face very handsome, regardless of the woman was smiling or not. So social proof can be overridden by such factors. Now linking back to social proof. Definitely this study is showing us social proof matters because in most cases it did. On an average, people did consider whether the woman is looking favorably at the man or not. It shows that immediately that again that first contact or the first liking which we have, it does get influenced by social proof. But because the confounding possibility is there, in some cases there must have been other factors that matter more than the social proof. That means the theory is not complete by itself. The social proof theory needs to be expanded more. It needs to consider more factors. Now I am coming to the next theory, second half of the essay, the familiarity theory. Familiarity theory generally just tells us that people whom we know at least a little, we like them more than absolute strangers. Now why is this? Because we just feel comfortable around such people. We are again not sure. Strangers' behaviors are not predictable for us. If I'm sitting with someone I don't know what he'll do next. Will he try to harm me next? Will he do something embarrassing next? I don't know. But if I know the person a little also, I know how he's going to behave. So if I know he's going to behave embarrassing, I can just excuse myself. If I know he's going to behave nice, I can sit happily with that person. So we always like some amount of predictability. This theory, again, why it's important, it helps us to build trust. And trust is very important for relationships. I cannot trust anybody till I know something about that person. Little bit I should know him at least. Otherwise, how to have faith in what he's going to do, especially towards me. So trust building is very important over here. But again, the problem is that familiarity is not the only factor. In all our interpersonal essays, the problem with all the theories is they look at very selected factors. They are all reductionist. So same issue is over here. There can be other factors that matter, which we have been seeing: personality, physical attractiveness. Those factors can be more important. Let's come to the study which is supporting this theory. It was by Moreland and Beach. They did the study in the classroom. They wanted to see whether in the classroom, how much students know another student, that is, they are familiar with that student or not. Does it affect how attractive, how similar they find that person? In the sense, if they've been seeing some student very often, he comes regularly to the class, will they like that student more, or want to be more friends with that student than whom they've hardly seen or they're seeing for the first time? So here what the researchers did, they took 130 students who were in a large college course. So convenience type of sampling, everybody is there together in the classroom. And they had 4 female confederates. Confederates are just assistants of the researcher. So like 4 assistants who were tied with the researcher, already they had been given some instructions. In front of the students, these 4 assistants were going to behave according to the instructions given to them. First instruction they were given was to pose as students. So they, as if there are new students who have joined the classroom or like that, they just enter the classroom. So students don't know these are assistants. They are assuming new students have come into the class. The other instruction they were given was not to interact with any of the students. So they had to be in the class but not interact. Like even if a student's trying to come and greet them and all, just smile and leave it. Like don't have any communication with the students. This is important, like a control, because then it would be, instead of familiarity, how they are talking or whether the students are liking their voice or something, that could have become a reason for attraction. Now the main manipulation here is there are 4 different assistants. These 4 attended different number of classes. Your classes have been called class sessions. So one of the assistants, she attended 5 classes, another attended 10, and another attended 15. So here the manipulation is easy to understand. The one whom we are seeing 5 times from when she's joined, we are not so familiar with her, but still we know her somewhat. 10 times who's attending, we know her to quite an extent, because though she's not talking to us, we can see her mannerisms, overall behavior in the classroom we can see. And in 10 sessions, we can see more than in 5 sessions. Same way, 15 sessions we know even more about. So we are even more familiar with the one who's coming for 15 sessions. And we know there was a 4th confederate also. She never attended the class. So hers is 0 sessions. She's the stranger type of confederate whom no one knows. But how do they know she's in the class at all? Because that class photograph which is there. So class photograph was taken. In that they had imposed her photo. Like they had just added her. So when the students saw the class photograph, they saw this, who is this person? We don't know also. But they assume that this is a student who never attended the class. So we are seeing 4 assistants, different degrees of familiarity, right from being an absolute stranger to someone who attended 15 sessions, so she was very familiar to the students. Now what they did was, at the end of these exposures, so it took quite some time, quite a few weeks the study went on, then they asked the students that we are going to show you some slides of women and you have to rate them. Rate them in terms of, first of all, is the person familiar to you? Do you know this person? Do you find this person attractive? And do you think this person is similar to you? So do you think this person matches with you in any way? Now coming to the results, as we would expect, more frequently confederate attended the class, higher were the ratings. So the 15 session assistant, she got the maximum ratings in all 3 respects. They found her very familiar also, they liked her also attractive, and they felt she was similar to them because they had observed them so many times. So they felt like she behaves like just like us, like all us students. The 10 session one, little less ratings on all these factors. 5 session one, even less ratings, and 0 session one got the worst ratings because she was a stranger. In fact, they had asked for many other dimensions also, intelligence, honesty, those typical things, and everything. They found the one whom they knew well, the 15 session one, better than all the other confederates who were there. So definitely, we are getting proof that familiarity does increase liking and affinity. Means how much we feel attracted to somebody. Now let's quickly see the strengths and weaknesses of this study. Good thing about this study, it's one of the rare studies which is not done in the... You need... Can I take like 2 or 5 minutes more? Is that okay? Should I... Okay, thank you. Okay, just want to finish with this essay. Okay. A good thing about this study is that it is not done in the laboratory, one of the rare ones. It's done in an actual classroom. So that makes it very realistic. It has very good ecological validity. This is a natural setting and the students were really believing that the assistant is a student just like them. So that makes it like we can believe that in real life also this is only how students would respond if it was an actual student also. In fact, we can expect that the findings would extend to many real-world settings, classroom, workplaces like job, or other social environments like parties, restaurants. We can expect to get similar findings. Also, we saw large number of participants were there, so findings are more likely to be generalizable. There were 130 students. So many students coming to the same ratings means we can expect most people are going to respond like this only to familiarity. So generalizability is very high in terms of the setting also and in terms of how many participants were there. But as we saw earlier, it's not controlling for other factors which can also influence relationships, such as we saw physical attractiveness. What if the 15 session assistant was very beautiful compared to the 0 session assistant? Maybe that's why they liked her more. So researchers did not really measure whether they found her physically attractive or not. Or there could have been other things they liked about her compared to, like in her body language or something, compared to the one who never attended. Also, we see the study has included only female confederates. So, okay, no doubt this is how they are judging females in terms of familiarity. But what if it was a male assistant instead? Or what if it was an assistant who looks different? So, female only but looks like she's coming from another country or something. Would they give ratings in the same way? We don't know. So, now talking about linking it to the theory. The realism of the study, like we saw ecological validity, very relevant to familiarity theory because familiarity effect is something we are expecting in the real world. Acquaintances, liking, strangers, these all things will matter to us in the real world. It's a very important part of our life. So these findings are realistic means we get confidence that really such things do happen with us, which we always discuss. Now we have proof for it. So it helps us to understand how we form relations in everyday life, like students forming bonding with other students is a very common scenario. But that lack of control over other factors, again, it tells us we should interpret the theory's findings with caution. In real life, other things might override familiarity. So I don't know somebody so well, but just because she looks attractive or something, I ignore the fact that she's not familiar and I want to be friends with her. That is possible in real life. Okay, so let's come to the conclusion now. To summarize, definitely socio-cultural factors matter. At least in initial relationship forming, they are playing a very big role. And both the studies which we saw, social proof and familiarity, they definitely shape our preferences and affinities. So both the factors are important. Both studies also which we saw very similar to each other, they are showing us importance of external cues. But for both the studies, the criticism is similar. We need to be aware that other important aspects need to be considered. So again, for future research, just like the last ERQ, what we will suggest is more research should be done which see how these factors combine with other factors and influence people's relationships. So more holistic type of studies are needed to see how collectively everything comes together and influences our connections. Okay, so that is it for this essay. Today I'm ending here then, and next time we will do communication and end of relationships essay. Is that fine? Okay. Anything else you want to do in other next class or anything? Okay. So then I'm ending the class for today then. Bye.